Welcome back. Updates on escalating tensions in the South China Sea, a joint U.S.-Iraq military operation against ISIS, Namibia's controversial wildlife culling, a significant press freedom case in Hong Kong, and the latest on the U.S. presidential race. Let's dive right in. The South China Sea remains a hotspot for geopolitical conflict, with the latest incident involving a series of collisions between Chinese and Philippine vessels. The Philippines released footage showing a Chinese Coast Guard ship deliberately ramming a Philippine vessel multiple times. Philippine Coast Guard spokesperson J. Terriella condemned the actions, stating that there was no provocation from their side. On the other hand, China's Coast Guard claimed that their ship was merely issuing verbal warnings and taking control measures, accusing the Philippines of misinterpreting the situation and provoking conflicts. This incident highlights the ongoing dispute over territorial claims in the South China Sea, where China asserts dominance over nearly the entire region under its controversial Nine-Line, despite an international court ruling invalidating those claims in 2016. These tensions come just one day after a U.S. military official hinted at the possibility of escorting Philippine resupply ships in the disputed waters, signaling potential further escalation. In other news, a joint U.S.-Iraq military raid in Iraq's Anbar desert has resulted in the deaths of 15 to 17 ISIS terrorists. The raid, conducted on August 29, targeted key ISIS leaders in an effort to disrupt their ability to plan and execute attacks against Iraqi civilians, U.S. citizens, and allied forces. According to U.S. Central Command, the terrorists were heavily armed, and the raid successfully neutralized several high-value targets. Iraq's military confirmed the recovery of important documents and communication devices from the scene, though the identities of those killed have yet to be released. However, the operation was not without cost. 7 American troops were injured, 5 during the raid itself and 2 others in falls during the operation. All are reported to be in stable condition. Namibia is facing severe food insecurity as the country battles its worst drought in a century. In response, the government has announced plans to cull over 700 wild animals, including 83 elephants, 30 hippos, and 300 zebras. The Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism stated that the culling is necessary to address human-wildlife conflicts and to provide much-needed meat to those affected by the drought. The drought, which led to a state of emergency declaration in May, has left nearly half of Namibia's population facing acute food insecurity. The culling program has already provided over 125,000 pounds of meat to those in need, and the government insists that this is a necessary measure to conserve dwindling water resources and prevent further conflicts between wildlife and human communities. In Hong Kong, 2 journalists have been convicted of sedition, marking the first such conviction since the city's handover to China in 1997. Chung Pui-Quen and Patrick Lam, former editors of the now-defunct Stand News, were found guilty of conspiring to publish seditious articles that allegedly incited hatred against the Chinese and Hong Kong governments. Chung defended the publication's work, stating that their goal was to report the truth and reflect diverse voices. However, the judge ruled that several articles had seditious intent, accusing the outlet of smearing national security laws. The convictions have sparked international concern over press freedom in Hong Kong, with critics warning of a broader crackdown on dissent in the city. The 2 journalists face up to 2 years in prison, with sentencing scheduled for September 26. Finally, in U.S. political news, Vice President Kamala Harris has sharply criticized former President Donald Trump for using footage of a visit to Arlington National Cemetery in his campaign ads. Harris called the move disrespectful, arguing that the cemetery is a place of solemn remembrance, not a political stage. The controversy centers around Trump's visit to Section 60, where service members killed in the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan are buried. Trump's campaign defended the use of the footage, while Harris's comments are seen as a preview of how she might address the issue in the upcoming September 10th debate. The veterans' vote remains a critical factor in the election, with Trump's past comments about military service members continuing to be a contentious issue. In other news, Trump suggested he could support a Florida ballot measure to legalize recreational marijuana. While stopping short of a full endorsement, Trump acknowledged that legalization in other states makes it likely that Florida voters will approve the measure. This stance comes as Democrats aim to mobilize younger voters on issues like marijuana legalization and abortion rights, both of which are on the ballot this fall. That's all for tonight's news update. Thank you for joining us. We'll continue to monitor these stories and bring you the latest developments. Stay safe, stay informed, and have a good night. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update.